Yo, what is going on, guys? It's C-Breb. Welcome to another MLB The Show 20 video. Man, it feels so good to say MLB The Show 20. If you're new to the channel, subscribe for more MLB The Show content. And I'm going to go over a topic today in Prestige Diamonds that is going to seem a little negative on the surface, but I want to be very, very clear in the beginning of this video that I'm not having a negative take on Prestige Diamonds. I think Prestige Diamonds are really cool. More content is better content. Having ways in game to show off that you've used a card a lot and that you've played the game a lot are really cool things to have. So I just wanted to get that out of the way, but I wanted to bring up something about Prestige Diamonds that I haven't seen a lot of people talking about, and it's an important part of deciding whether you should go for them or not. So we're in the SDS live stream, as you know, because the game isn't quite out yet, but they did reveal this stuff on stream, and we're looking at Prestige Todd Helton. So just to get it out of the way right away, the reason I'm not the biggest fan of Prestige Diamonds is because they actually require you to lock in the card and make the card non-sellable. So that's actually a really big deal. Additionally, they changed it this year to where you cannot quick sell cards that you have locked in. So once a card is locked in, there's no way to generate stub value from that card anymore. So in order to engage in a card's Prestige Diamond, you must lock him in, which makes him unsellable and invaluable or not valuable to you in any way in terms of stubs. So I think that's a really big deal, especially considering they said they're mostly going to be doing Prestige Diamonds with inning program bosses who tend to carry pretty high price tags as we move farther and farther along in the year. They are pretty cheap in the beginning of the year. It's a pure supply and demand issue. With the more people playing, the cheaper they are. But yeah, if you go for Prestige Diamonds, you can't sell the card anymore. So proceed with caution, I suppose, and I'm going to dive in to my opinion on whether I will be going for them and what specific cards I will be going for Prestige Diamonds with. So in order to engage in the Prestige Diamond program, you must lock the card in and make him unsellable, like I said, but you must also complete these stat missions that are online only. These stat missions are a bit of a grind. They're not as low as I initially thought they were, but if the card is in your starting lineup for every game, I don't think you should have any issues knocking these out. If you're willing to lock the card in the first place and go for this, I don't think it's that big of a stat grind, and the card's probably going to be in your lineup anyway. So it may take a little bit. Obviously, the better you hit with the hitters or the better you pitch with the pitchers, the faster it will go, but there's really no like losing at it. It just takes more time if you aren't hitting well. So as far as the stat grinds go, I don't think they're too bad. As far as the stats, if we look at initial Todd Helton stats here, so I haven't seen anyone talk about this either, but Prestige Diamonds have +3 to every single attribute on the card. So if we look at Todd Helton, his initial card, as they're going to show here, you can see across the board 99, 98, 73, 74, and you can look at the fielding at 86. And then if we go to Prestige Todd Helton, he's at 102, 101, 76, 77, and 89. As well, he had 51 speed before, now he has 54. So very obvious, Prestige Diamonds are just a +3 across the board. As far as I know, there aren't any thresholds in Diamond Dynasty as there are in Madden, so I'm not sure the +3 is as big of a deal, but obviously more stats is nice. I'm also not sure if they are going to increase the Prestige Diamond attribute boost as cards get better. So like these initial cards get +3 across the board, but if we get later into the year, they may do like +5, +10, who knows. But as it stands right now, all the Prestige Diamonds that you can do when the game releases, which is the first inning bosses of Todd Helton, Roy Oswalt, and Duke Snider, they are all +3 to every attribute across the board when you get them to Prestige Diamond. And so basically the decision you have to make, the decision you have to ask yourself is it worth it to lock this card in, make him unsellable, and do an online stat grind for +3 attributes across the board? So I don't really think there's a right or wrong answer. I just wanted to point out that the card becomes unsellable for you to even engage in this program in the first place. So moving forward in the video, I'm going to give my opinion on why it may or may not be worth it, and when it's worth it, and so on. So one thing to bring up is that locking in these cards, as they've said, a lot of the prestige diamonds are going to be the program inning bosses. Locking in these cards to do the prestige diamonds actually has a lot of synergy with program vouchers if they were to bring them back, which I believe they will. It hasn't been confirmed, but I don't see why they wouldn't do it. If you didn't play the game last year, program vouchers were a way to get a head start on the next inning program by locking in all 3 of the bosses from the previous program and making them non-sellable. So if you're doing prestige diamonds with all 3 of the first inning bosses, they're already locked in anyway, and so it's essentially a free voucher for the second inning program. You'll get, last year it was 75 bonus program stars on day 1 of the second inning program dropping, so that's really cool. It has a lot of synergy with program vouchers. I know a lot of people did those last year. I personally did not because of the opportunity cost of not being able to sell the cards anymore. But now you kind of get double the benefit by locking in these inning bosses, obviously assuming they bring the vouchers back, because it's not been confirmed yet, like I said. Additionally, these first inning program bosses, as I said earlier in the video, the program bosses, how much they're worth in stub value, is directly correlated to how many people are playing the game. So traditionally, I mean, last year was the first year, but with more people playing the game, there's a higher supply of inning bosses because it's not that hard to get to the inning bosses if you play the game a lot, and so they're generally cheaper. As I said earlier, supply and demand. There was a point during the first inning program last year where the first inning bosses were selling for 20,000 stubs, which is insanely cheap. I think that was their low point, but keep in mind these were like 95s and 96s on release month last year that were selling for 20k just because so many people were getting them. And so I think prestige diamonds have better upside early in the year with these inning bosses in the first couple programs when there's a high supply and the cards are cheaper. As we moved on last year, the inning bosses would become more and more expensive, especially with big names dropping like Ken Griffey Jr., who was probably well over 100k for most of the time that his program was out. So I think if you're going to dive into prestige diamonds and maybe even try them, I think that the first inning program is a good chance to do that. And if you're going to do it, I would probably do it with all 3 so that you get the program voucher moving forward. But it all depends on how much you play the game and what you want out of Diamond Dynasty. I will say, in contrast to the points I just made, the prices of inning bosses tend to rise as the program is rotated out. So if you invest in some first inning program guys and the second inning program comes out, it's usually a good bet to make some stubs. And also your opportunity cost of locking these first inning program bosses in the first inning program is much higher as the year goes on because their prices are going to rise because they're technically not obtainable anymore, mostly because people who have played the game a lot have already completed the program and you can only get it once. Additionally, for a lot of the programs early in the year last year, there actually weren't even enough stars from just the missions to get to the boss. So if you didn't know, as they rotate a program out, all of your stars from daily missions and probably Showdown this year and all the stuff that you get from just playing the game goes towards the current program. So you can't get like bonus stars towards the first inning program once the first inning program rotates out. Synergizing that with the fact that most people have completed the program already, the supply of program inning bosses that have been rotated out goes down drastically and is pretty much cut off as soon as that program is rotated out. Could be a little different this year, but keep in mind that inning bosses are going to rise in price once their program is rotated out, and that by locking these cards in to do the prestige diamonds, you are missing out on potential upside for selling the cards later. So to wrap the video up, I'm going to talk about what prestige diamonds I'm going to be going for and my suggestions for who you guys should be going for. So in my opinion, I'm only going to be doing prestige diamonds for pitchers and for guys that I love in real life, and I would suggest that for you as well. Prestige diamond pitchers have way more upside than prestige diamond hitters for the things that I'm going to show you with Roy Oswalt right now. So if we go look at original Roy Oswalt that's going to be coming out. He is a 93 overall, and he's going to get +3 to every attribute, as I mentioned earlier, just like Todd Helton did. So hits per 9 is going to be 77, K is going to be 88, walks per 9 is going to be 101. But pitchers have more upside with Prestige Diamonds because their repertoire actually changes as well. So hard pitches, which for Roy Oswalt are four-seamer, sinker, and apparently slider, they're going to get +1 to velocity, and off-speed pitches, as in his curveball and his changeup, are going to get -1 to velocity. So the velocity of his pitches are improving across the board in addition to his actual attributes, which is why I think Prestige Diamond pitchers are the move, and why I will be doing Prestige Diamond for this Roy Oswalt card. Additionally, doing Prestige Diamonds for pitchers has more upside than for hitters, because you can have up to 5 starting pitchers in your lineup at any time, and you can have up to 7 relievers in your lineup at any time. So locking these guys in as pitchers means you're going to be using them probably a lot longer than hitters, because you have up to 5 slots for them in your starting lineup as opposed to just 1, right? You can have essentially 5 starting pitchers at the same time, as opposed to you can only really have 1 starting first baseman at a time. So I think Prestige Diamond pitchers are awesome. I'm going to be going for this Roy Oswalt. As you can see, his four-seamer, sinker, and slider all got +1 to velocity, and his curveball and his changeup all got 1 mile an hour slower, as well as +3 across the board. So that's my suggestion. Also, do it for guys you love in real life. They kind of mentioned it as a badge of honor in the stream. Just showing off a Prestige Diamond in-game is a really cool thing to do. And so if you are a huge Blue Jays fan and they release an inning boss of, say, Josh Donaldson or something like that, and you're a huge Josh Donaldson fan, just do the Prestige Diamond, man. Locking it in, the opportunity cost is not worth it if you really, really love the guy. So that would be my advice to conclude for y'all. I think Prestige Diamonds with pitchers is amazing, and for guys that you love in real life, I think it would be a cool thing to do, since you're probably going to be using them for a good chunk of the year anyway. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Drop a like down below and comment if you have any questions about what I went over. Hopefully it wasn't too negative. I don't think it was. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'm going to be pumping out MLB The Show content this year like crazy, as I did last year. And I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.